This is the September 7th, 2021 Conservation Commission meeting, and I'm going to share my screen, which will have the agenda in 1 second. Somewhere in my pile of documents, that is an agenda. Can you all see that?
Yes.
And
So do I need to call it to order or do you do that?
if you don't mind calling it to order.
So all I gotta do is say it. It's 6:31 and we're open. The meeting is open or in order.
This is Mike Schaefer. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, hi, Mike.
There you go. Who else?
So
Do we have
who
anybody
is
else?
attending?
There's no one else that I can see.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can't see Morningstar. I can see the screen. I can see Mark and I see Gary
Huh,
or
okay.
Mariah. I don't know who I see. I don't have a very good. I see something.
Well, I'm surprised you can't see me, but I'm here.
That's okay. I'm just on my phone. It's not very good, but anyhow.
Well, we can hear you well, so that's good.
Okay, good.
Do we have minutes from the August 3rd meeting?
Not August. You guys should have received July. August would have, but I got called for a work emergency. So they'll be done this weekend along with these minutes because for the entire Big E, I'm down in West Springfield parking cars with my mom. So I want to get everything done before I have to worry about that. Because I think
So
our next
since-
will be the day after it ends. Or 2
Since
days.
the meeting minutes that are on the agenda are from August, do you all want to just wait for your next meeting and then you can vote on minutes from July, August, and September?
I
Does that work?
Have you guys
I
looked at the other ones?
So we need
Say that
a
again?
motion to wait on the minutes and then we can discuss it and then we can vote on it.
All right, I'll make a motion to postpone reviewing the July, August, and September minutes until the next meeting.
Second.
So it's moved and seconded to hold off on voting on the minutes or accept the minutes. All those in favor?
Oh, Carrie Burke, aye.
Mark Blatchley, aye.
Morningstar Chandan, aye.
Mike Schaefer, aye.
Can I just ask
Oh.
a question?
Whoops,
Go
go ahead.
Ask a question. Carrie, where do you post the minutes generally? Is it just sent to our email or just somewhere
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, I don't have access to anything where I can post it, so I just email them.
Okay.
Did you get them, Morningstar?
I don't think I did, but sometimes I have a little trouble with the email.
July earlier
But
today.
anyway, I didn't see them yet, but I'm assuming I'll see them when I go back.
It's probably good that we wait anyway because we've got 2 people that aren't, in this meeting. So we should have a full house next meeting.
Okay, and then you've got the RDA for 33 North Street is next on the agenda. And I believe some of you, maybe Mark and David, had done a site visit.
Well, it was more of a meeting with a consultant than because we didn't have a quorum, so he really couldn't meet on it. And then there was an email that came out that it had been amended or the questions raised at the site visit were addressed. So has everybody seen that in the email about that Dave, I think Dave sent it out?
About what?
About that, from what I read was there wasn't going to be any change to the river contour. And it was just gonna go to a dry well about 40 feet away.
That's
Okay.
correct. But I'm not sure that that's on this form.
That could go under conditions on number 3, I think, if we wanted to do it that way.
Let's see, where was not,
It's,
I just, wait till it stops here.
Well,
Yeah.
so this is not, I was just scrolling to see what was on here, but this isn't the document that you all send back. This is what they sent to you.
okay, yeah.
And it looks like Megan Edson from 33 North Street is on the call if you all have questions. But in turn, I can try to pull up the document that you all send if you'd like. One moment.
Morningstar and I visited the site, but it was like a torrential rain, so we didn't get to do much
No,
that
not
night.
at all. We just got wet.
So this is the form that you all send back. And I think, Mike, what you were referring to was the negative determination number 3, which is the work described in this request is within the buffer zone, but will not alter an area subject to protection under the Act. Therefore, it does not require a notice of intent subject to the following conditions.
Yeah, that was what I was
Since it's not
thinking.
noted, since it's not noted anywhere else, I think we should check off that number 3, because that's going to be the result, and add a statement there to the effect the work, that all drainage will be going into a dry well. Would that make it adequate?
I think so.
That would be fine with me. How about Megan?
I can, let's see. I can try to unmute her. Oh, it's her.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
This is Megan. Okay, so
Yep.
I was trying not to talk because I didn't want to interrupt anything. Yeah, I'm sorry, I did not put that on the original request, but that is what we're planning on doing, is putting in a dry well. All that perimeter will connect to a dry well, and it'll be just south of our building. So it'll be Morningstar and Mark, I guess you visited. There's a little dip in the down a little bit from our building, and that's where we're gonna put that dry well.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions that anybody has about this?
No.
Then can I have a motion to check off number 3 and add that wording about the dry well?
I make a motion to do that. Check off 3 and add the dry well information.
So it's moved and seconded that we check off that the work described in the request is within the buffer zone as defined in the regulations, but will not alter an area subject to protection under the Act. Therefore, the work does not require the filing of a notice of intent, subject to the following conditions: that a dry well will be constructed to absorb drainage from the project. How's that?
Is it okay if I have a little bit of freedom with that language, just as I'm typing it up, if I need to change the wording a tiny bit to make it make sense?
Certainly.
Okay. I'll make sure that it sticks with that intention.
Mariah, are you gonna type it up and then us sign it? Is that the plan or?
Yep, I can do that.
All right.
Mark,
right,
did you
thank-
So we
make,
do need to- so we do need to have a vote on that.
right, but did you, I think Morningstar made the motion, who seconded it?
I was just about to ask that.
Mike, I did.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Motion is made, seconded. All those in favor?
Karen Berg, aye.
Mark Blatchley, aye.
Morningstar Chandon, aye.
Mike Schaefer, aye.
Okay,
Megan, for your information, the next step is that I will print up this form when I get to the office tomorrow or Wednesday. I will let the Conservation Commission know when they can come in and sign it, and then probably sometime early next week, I can put that out in the foyer for you to pick up, or if you'd like to have me send it, I can also do that.
That's great. Thank you. Just let us know when it's ready and we'll come pick it up.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. This is a big deal to our basement.
I'm sure I understand.
Our pleasure.
Have a good night.
All right.
Hi,
So,
thank you.
So Mariah, when
Um,
would we go to sign that? When would we need to come in?
I will probably head to town hall tomorrow, at the latest Wednesday, but I will send out an email to everyone. And, the end of this week, you can come in and sign it. Oh, wait, tomorrow is, I keep thinking today's Monday. Yes, tomorrow I'll go to town hall and do that. And then either, probably by tomorrow afternoon or Thursday morning, it should be out there and you can all come in and sign it.
I'll
But-
need to do after hours, so I can have Darby let me in if you let me leave it in the foyer.
Yep, I'll leave it there with a little note.
Perfect.
okay, moving on. Item number 5, discussion regarding phosates.
Right, glyphosates. I would like to just say a few things about it. I sent you an article. I didn't realize it was on the agenda until today. So I just sent you this article and I'm sure you all haven't had time to read it. But there's many countries and some states, some parts of California, some other places in the US that are banning glyphosate, which is the same as Roundup. And it's what they what they spray around the railroad tracks, and apparently causes cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and breast cancer. It gets into the water. It gets into a lot of the foods that we eat. So I have some more articles I can send you. Just something I wanted to say is that a lot of the research that was done on glyphosate to show that it was really good was actually research done by like Monsanto and Bayer, the people that own it. So there was a real lack of research because it was being done by the companies who actually own it. But one of the things that I did find out, and I will send you, is that Bayer is paying millions and millions of dollars to people who have gotten cancer as a result of being exposed to this Roundup. So my purpose in doing all this is to see if we could not be spraying Roundup in our neck of the woods. Not and oppose the spraying of it around the railroad tracks and any other areas where it might be being sprayed. And that's all.
Morning, sir. I have a question. And I'm happy to look this up myself too, but maybe you already know the answer. Is glyphosate usually used in like non-spray applications for invasives as well? I know that there's something that sometimes people brush onto in like knotweed roots and stuff to kill it, but I wasn't sure if it was that or not.
I don't know. I mean, I know that it is sprayed.
Yeah, it is. It is. They do use Roundup to try to kill knotweed. You're right.
Mhm.
Okay.
I've heard it referenced in terms of that use. One question I have is, what, it's a question of what do we have to, how much do we have to say about the railroad as a town? I mean, is this a case of something where we need to go on record? But is there any place where we can restrict its use unilaterally? Or is it
Right.
entirely a state issue?
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know if David would know that or how I would find that out, but I'd be willing to look it up if somebody could send me in the right direction.
I would just, go ahead.
So I don't know a lot about this specific issue with the railroad. I think I remember someone, and I don't remember who it was, telling me that, so when the railroads reach out to us, they've already been kind of approved through the state for an overall spraying plan, and they're reaching out for you all to confirm the no spray areas, because they feel like the local conservation commissions would know better where those boundaries are. They hire a consultant to help them figure that out. And so you're all only approving that plan. But my understanding is that there are some other towns, and I don't know which ones they are. I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I believe there are other towns in Franklin County who have had conservation commissions that have opposed this. I don't know what the result of that was, if it was more of just from an ethical standpoint, we are stating that we are against it, or if there was actually action that was taken where it wasn't sprayed. But it might be worth, if any of you know conservation commission members in other towns that are along railroads, it might be worth reaching out and asking what they know. I can also see there might be actually the MACC, the Massachusetts Conservation Commission group, they might have resources on it as well to tell you what control the conservation commissions actually have over this, which I think is very little, but I don't actually know that.
Okay. Well, I can contact MACC and I will talk to some folks in Wendell and maybe Shutesbury. I can talk, try to talk to a few different folks in the area.
Yeah.
There's and you can access the Wendell people directly through their Conservation Commission website. But also I would wonder if it's in use by the power company at all along power lines. And that would be another area of concern.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something
But
to look at. Well,
are there any other steps or anyone else that would like to take part in, take some initiative in this? Sounds
well,
like you've got it, Morningstar.
I'm fine with research. I don't know if David wants to do any himself. He said he had some interest in it, so I can talk to him. But I will, start doing some more research and let you know what I find.
Yeah, you mentioned Shutesbury, Morningstar, and for some reason that rings a bell, but maybe that was one of the towns that had conversations about that. So I think that's a great idea, reaching out to them.
Okay, I'll do that.
Anything else? Any other discussion on this issue? Moving on, Poplar Mountain. I didn't get around to filing that or emailing in that report that I put together last time, but I can resubmit that with the changes that were on it. And other than that, just one thing that I would like to propose is a small work party to clear out small brush and dead material from the area that we've marked out for a parking area. Just to delineate, what would be cut when they do the trees, and also to make the area a little more obvious to us. Not that I was suggesting we go in and do any of the work on the trees, but that we go in and just remove both the dead stuff and the small brush that's in there within the boundaries of the area we designated. We can see what it is and what's there.
I can, but not until after the meeting.
I'm sorry?
I'm pretty much unavailable the rest of this. Except, I mean, I'll still be checking emails, but as far as doing anything like that, I can't.
Well, I was just going to say, would the Conservation Commission approve doing that? And then if they would, then I can put the word out on the list of, I guess there's, I don't know how many people are on that list outside of the Conservation Commission, maybe about 5. But it wouldn't take more than 2 or 3 people, getting together for an hour to do that, or maybe 2 hours at the most, and just pile up that brush on one side.
Right.
But one part of that is, I think we should have approval to do that, or we should approve it. And the second is, at what point do we need to file on ourselves regarding the wetland that's basically within 100 feet of where we want to have the parking lot?
So as long as you're not dredging, digging, removing soil, adding soil, things like that, you should be good to clear brush. That's my understanding, at least.
That's my impression.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question on that. So is the parking lot going to be paved, or it's just going to be dirt?
Gravel.
It was going to be gravel,
Gravel.
but
There's no chemicals stuff going down.
Yeah, I'm here.
I think there's easily a year, we're a year away from solid work on that. So the idea has always been that, each step of the way, we get to approve or disapprove of where we stand and where we're headed. So paving's the last step. And at this point, the discussion was a porous material like gravel.
Well, Mark, I'll make a motion to have a work day to clear out the brush. No big trees, just brush in the proposed parking lot.
I'll start putting the idea out and see how many people stand up and salute. Do I have a second on the motion?
I'll second.
You have a motion to have a work party sometime this fall, small work party to clear out brush within the area of that's flagged for the parking area. All those in favor?
Carrie Bird, aye.
Mark Latchley, aye.
Lisa Chenbin, aye.
Mike Schaefer, aye.
Moved and carried. Only other thing that's up for ideas that have come in that I know someone at one of our meetings that we held there at the parking area said something about benches or whatnot. And recently, while doing some trail work with Rinky, she said it'd be nice to have a picnic bench somewhere up where people could go to sit and see out, like at one of the overlooks, which sounds like a pretty momentous task until I realized that it might be possible in the future to ask, to make up a picnic table, ask the power company to give us the town permission to haul the materials disassembled to up their road that goes up the backside, and then wheel it through the woods on a cart to a point on the, at that overlook and assemble. So that's an idea. I think it's a long ways away from, I don't want to put a motion out to start it because they have to have some thought about where, what's involved, you know, and, you know, just a whole variety of thoughts and steps. So, but that's the only other thing that's in the works at the moment. Signs are up saying that the unfinished trail is unfinished.
Cool.
And but the signs are a little unfinished up there if anybody's been up there to see, and you can understand why. I won't go into that because I might have a chance to fix it before anybody finds out.
Okay. I saw some really
Right.
adorable kind of like infographics when we were geocaching last Saturday. Just kind of like explaining the trees that like they were next to and stuff like that, and kind of gave like a different type in my brain. Like rather than it being like one of those big giant ones, this one was like maybe about like this big. Very simple, probably be a lot less expensive to even put together. I took pictures in case we wanted to like evaluate ideas when we're on that actual part of the process. But I thought they were cute. Anytime I see anything that could be good up there, I've been taking pictures. So
I'd like to see the pictures.
yeah, absolutely. From those two.
Good.
They're really
Yeah,
good.
I'll look at them. Thank you, Carrie.
All right, yeah, no problem.
And I think anybody who works on any trails or anything ought to, I've been posting pictures of those as well. Oh, there is another question, and I don't know if it's become moot or not, but we'd had suggested at the last meeting the name of a forester, and he would come in and do a survey. And I met with him, and he said if we would apply for the funds through the state, that it could be completely paid for. He said that from his understanding, there were funds through the end of this month, or no, the end of last month, and he wasn't sure if anything would be around after that. And so there is a question: do we want to hire somebody to come in and do a survey that would give us an understanding of the trees that are on the land? And the other piece of it, the funds are partly paid for by the Audubon Society, so it also includes a survey of bird populations. And we could also ask for animal populations. Although I do have a clue that there is at least one moose on the property.
Yeah, we've seen the moose, and my neighbor saw the moose, and I've seen a bear just recently up there. So
Mike, if you see that moose again, can you text me?
okay.
I gotta mention I want to see a moose.
Yeah, when I went out to work on the last week on the trail, Rinky was there ahead of me, and as she drove by Rob's house, the moose, it was a young one, a moose went up Rob's driveway. So I guess it was looking
That's where the bear went up near his driveway too. That must be where they like to go, Rob's house, for some reason.
I'll have to ask him what he's serving, you know? So is there any interest in exploring that forest survey? Or
I'd make a motion to explore it for next year or when funds become available again, if that's.
Yeah, I like the idea.
so what we would do is, I would suggest we fill out that form, and because I think I submitted it to you, Mariah, and I can get a hold of him and see if it's worth submitting it at this point.
Okay, yeah, if you can let me know, then I can help coordinate with maybe Mark, maybe you can be the point person, and we can kind of figure out whether it makes sense to do that.
Okay.
So what exactly is the wording of the motion?
It's kind of, oh, I don't even have his name right here. I'd have to go dig it out of the emails.
Well, I think that the motion, if you don't mind my suggestion, could just be that you give me permission to submit the application, and, you know, whether I do, whether, you know, if I find out that it doesn't make sense, if Mark talks to someone and they say, "Well, just wait until next year," then I won't submit it, but I have permission to do so if it does make sense.
Okay, so then the motion is to have Mariah submit a form requesting a grant for a forest survey. I think that's
I'll
adequate.
second.
That sounds good.
So all those in favor?
Carrie Berg, aye.
Mark Latchley, aye.
Star Chenvin, aye.
Mike Schaefer, aye.
Any other questions about Poplar Mountain?
Thank you, Mark, for all the work you've been doing over there.
Yes.
Well, it gets me out of the house.
At some point, I would like to meet somebody and see the site. I haven't seen it. I haven't been there, so I guess I can just email you guys and see if there's anybody who'd walk up there with me sometime.
Yeah, let me know if I don't know what your availability is. Mine's pretty universal. You know, there's not much difference in my life these days between weekends and weekdays. The only question is, am I around for going away or doing something, you know? I'm not available the next couple of days because I'm subbing, but other than that, you know, so during the week I can go up, and then on the weekends I can as well.
Okay. All right. I'll email you and find a time.
So one thing I have suggested is, would it do us some good to put it on the agenda for next month to discuss and solidify what the steps are going to be as far as lot is concerned, so that this way forward there's no question.
I'm not sure I didn't hear you, Carrie.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going in and out a little.
Am I? All right, I'll try to go quick. So what I'm wondering is, should we put it on the agenda for next month to discuss and solidify what the steps are going to be regarding that lot, so that we have something concrete and, you know, basically something to work off of for each step of the way? Because right now I don't feel like it's very solid. So,
Carrie, are you talking about the parking lot or just the property in general?
the parking lot.
That sounds like a very,
Something concrete, you know what I mean?
I think that would be a good idea. Just, you know, a sequence of steps that would be taking place so that we know what comes next.
And it'll make it easier to keep track of where we are in the process as well.
All right.
Okay.
So I'll try and come up with that next week. I mean, next month.
That sounds good. And then we can just all pretty much just talk about it, kind of come up with a good game plan.
Sounds good.
Everybody's there. I think we're gonna have a full house that one, hopefully.
I don't think if there's anything else. Something's sort of niggling in the back of my brain that there might be something else with Poplar Mountain, but I can't think of anything else.
I have a topic that was not anticipated at the time of posting for you all. So some of you who have been on the Concom for a little bit now might have seen previous forest cutting plans submitted. And if you're newer and you haven't seen those, when a property can optionally decide to file a forest cutting plan with DCR, the Department of Conservation and Recreation. I believe there's some kind of like a tax benefit to having an actual forest cutting plan. I don't know a lot about it. I've just been doing some research today, but my understanding is that a private landowner can decide to create this forest cutting plan with DCR, and then when they start to implement it, they're required to notify abutters and the Conservation Commission. And their property up on Flag Hill that I think is somewhere in the realm of like 32 acres had created a plan but didn't notify the Conservation Commission. And we found out, we meaning people at Town Hall found out because we were notified as an abutter because of the cemetery. And so we were confused about, did we miss a notification, or like what happened? Like, why didn't we realize this was happening until we got that notification as an abutter? So Jackie Boyden, the assessor, reached out to DCR today to find out more information, and we're waiting on an email back addressing some of these concerns. My understanding from looking online is that when the landowner submits or notifies you that they have a forest cutting plan, you have 10 days to review it and respond. I don't totally understand like what control you have over this. Like, if you do have concerns, what your response can be. I think the past ones that you've all reviewed while I've been here have been ongoing forest cutting plans that didn't have anything new proposed, so it wasn't a big deal. But this is a new forest cutting plan, so you might want to look closer at it. But Jackie and myself are having those conversations with DCR, and we'll try to offer you better guidance. But there's a chance that there will be a need for a meeting between your next one if they submit it and you all want to review it, because it would have to be addressed within 10 business days of the submission.
Mariah, can I just, we have had forest cutting plans submitted on new land, and David said we don't do anything with it. We just look, he's never done any, we've never, as a committee, Conservation Commission, we've never had any findings against the forest cutting plan. It's, we're notified, but I asked him specifically about it, and I'm not saying we can't, but we never have in the past.
Okay, that's good to know. My understanding, looking very briefly online today, is that the Conservation Commission's role, if you choose to, is mostly if you have concerns that resource areas were not properly identified or were not identified at all. So like, say someone proposed a forest cutting plan in a wetland and they didn't identify that it was a wetland, then I think you would step in and say, hey, we have concerns that they didn't identify this wetland. I don't think there's much more than that other than just noting your concern to DCR, and then I think they would have that conversation. But again, I haven't been through this, so I don't totally know. But that's good to know that in the past you all haven't done much with them. We as Town Hall, the highway department, myself, Brian, have concerns about Flag Hill Road being supportive of logging trucks if that's part of the plan, just because of how small the road is and how tight it is, and we're going to be doing a sewer project up there this fall. So we need to address that with the landowner, but that's not a Conservation Commission issue. So we need to help figure out a way to have vehicles safely access that lot if that is going to be part of their plan. Yeah, so I just wanted to let you all know that you will probably be seeing a forest cutting plan come through. It was supposed to start, I think September 5th was like the day it was supposed to be like eligible for them to take action. But if they didn't notify the Concom, then they're required to at least submit it to you. So
I have some questions about it. Would we be able to go to the land and like look at what's going to be done, or is that something that is not part of our? I just wonder if that's a possibility, because when I think about forest cutting, I think, well, it's disturbing habitat, you know, birds, animals, could be taking down some species of trees that are maybe rare. I don't know. Because I'm new at this, I don't really know, but it seems to me that's very possible that that could happen.
I don't know about site visits, but I will say that the Conservation Commission's scope of work is limited to the Wetlands Protection Act when it comes to things like that. So generally, if it's within a resource area, you know, if it's a buffer area, if it's delineated in the Wetlands Protection Act, then you have jurisdiction. If you just have concerns like you're cutting down a lot of trees, that's generally not the Conservation Commission's like you wouldn't have legal authority to say we don't want you to cut down trees, is my understanding. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but that's my general understanding.
It's my understanding that logging is pretty well protected as something that can take place without too much interference from you know, except as how it affects, you know, adjacent landowners directly, or directs, or in this case, conservation concerns through the Wetland Act. The email with the town concerns was posted to everybody, I believe. And so we should definitely read that and see what, you know, and double check perhaps check the state maps to see if there's any, you know, delineated areas or protected zones, and what are the distances to water, and, you know, so we can see if we have jurisdiction, and you know, and be, you know, and get ready and be ready if there is any place we can have anything to say. As far, and so if nothing's delineated on the land, you know, if nothing's been particularly, you know, we don't have jurisdiction, you know, unless it's just for protection of the waters. And that has to do with the distance away and the erosion protections that they might or might not take. So I suggest everybody read that email that Jackie posted, because it had a lot of different topics mentioned in it. If there's other questions on that, we should, you know, people should bring them out. I have another topic not anticipated at time of posting. So, does anybody else have any questions about this one?
No, not right now.
Okay. My question had to do with, again, something we might not have anything to say, but the work that was done by the state to improve drainage along Old State Road, including where you come up against the conservation, the Poplar Mountain area, it seemed to be that they just scraped it out and scraped into the banks and left exposed soil. And I've seen several places in adjacent towns, and I don't know about roads here, but other where the same process was done, and the next major rain, the soil that's now bare washed into those, and it essentially wiped out the, you know, the purpose of it, and also, you know, clogged the drainage that they were trying to keep clear. And I wondered if there is any way that we can express our concern and get the state to throw some seed, some hay, something on that to protect the erosion, protect it from erosion. I don't know that we can force anything on them on the state highway, but it certainly would be something we should express concern about.
If you're all interested in having that conversation, or having me have that conversation, Brian and I are discussing a lot of things with MassDOT right now in regards to Irving Center and the Church Street Bridge. So we've been in a lot of contact with them, and I'm happy to mention that. They could be waiting until the fall to spread seed, because generally you don't you're not planting grass seed in the summer. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm happy to mention that we would prefer they put some kind of seed down to kind of hold that soil in place.
Or at least hay or something else, some kind of protection down.
Yeah, agreed. I'm not really sure what process was behind that, or if we're only seeing it half done. That would be nice to know.
Okay,
Because
we can ask.
there was something else that David had mentioned in like one of the past minutes, but something about we have to watch out for asphalt, because if it's too smooth, the water will get a lot of speed and overwhelm the catch basins. So there's like a few things. I just like to see if that's it, or if there's more coming as far as that project is concerned. It looks like it's half done.
So is there any other concerns on this?
Fine.
As soon as I empty my mouth, I'll move on.
This is another topic which I put an email to Mariah, but I don't know, Mariah, if you answered. But I want to start taking these courses from the conservation. I think it's from MACC. Do I pay it myself and then get reimbursed? Is that the way it works?
No, so you can pay and ask for them to invoice you, and then you can just bring the invoice to the town. So you can sign up. I forget how it works, if you put our address straight in and they send the invoice straight to us, or if they send you the invoice. But either way, you shouldn't have to pay anything up front. You should be able to just ask for an invoice.
Okay.
Cool. That's good to know, because I plan on taking some over the winter.
Okay. And if you run into trouble, feel free to reach out to them or to me, and we can help you figure it out.
Okay.
You don't have to pay out of pocket for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there any other topics?
No.
Well, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
I second.
All those in favor?
Carrie Berg, aye.
Mark Blatchley, aye.
Morningstar Chenvin, aye.
Mike Schaefer, aye.
The meeting
Thank you
is
all.
adjourned. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, Mark, for doing that.
Such as they did, such as it was.
We're good.
Yes.
That was a
good.
nice speedy meeting. Very efficient use of time.
Now I can
Yeah.
get down to the dinner.
Me too.
Forward here.
Me too.
Good night, everyone.
All right, have a good one.
Night.